Thanks so much for having me. So my name is Micaela Choo. I'm a former television news reporter. I graduated from BYU a very long time ago. My trajectory has taken me from news reporting for about 8 years. I worked in Milwaukee, Wisconsin as a crime reporter. I also worked in Canada, where I'm originally from, as a television news anchor, a weather person, and also a reporter. I made my way back down here to Utah for my master's degree at BYU in mass communications, where I studied Black feminism. I actually always thought I ended up teaching, but kind of never really happened, more than an adjunct role at Utah Valley University. But thrilled to be here and talk to you about marketing. So my transition from TV reporting to marketing, a lot of people do ask that, like, why would you give up being in front of TV? It just seems so glamorous. Well, does anybody have an idea how much the average TV reporter makes in this market? Just yes.
60,000?
60. Well, that's maybe if you work at KSL, so it's a little further lower. So if I had sat down to negotiate with the station I was freelancing at in 2005, when I was sort of wrapping things up, then they would have said, here's about $40,000, be happy. And I'd already worked in different markets, and I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to make it to Good Morning America. I've actually only met like one person who's made it there, and he's on there now. His name is Whit Johnson, and he's incredible. I think he was truly born with the gift of the gab to be able to talk and be eloquent, and he looks like Ken and Barbie, like Ken. You know, he has the looks. His dad was in radio. He's fantastic, but few people actually make it to big money, and even in this market, there's very few TV reporters who are over 6 figures. So I decided to try my hand in marketing. My background in that, as far as my family background goes, is my family is from the islands of Trinidad and Tobago. Does anyone know where that is? Where? Yeah, great. Where are you from?
Haiti.
Haiti. Okay, so then, yeah, you kind of know. So it's over, it's close to the northern part of South America. So it's 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. So on my mom's side, her parents were in sales. So I kind of draw upon that, like, as I moved into my sales and marketing career. Nobody would give me a job in sales and marketing because I was like, well, it'll be really easy because I've already been on TV and these are transferable skills. And I know that Slick does have quite a few like working students who have gone in different trajectories or reinventing themselves, et cetera. So I was like, well, it'll be easy. I'll just be able to, just tell them, well, I'm a news reporter, I can do whatever. But it actually was quite difficult. So I interviewed in pharmaceutical, I interviewed a couple different places, never really got anything, but I did get a door-to-door job in sales, selling discount cards, like these cards that you would tear off, to Stonebridge Golf Course, which is on the west side, and then also Cinemark. So that was like my first gig, and ended up like walking into the door literally of the piano gallery, which is in Murray. And they said, oh, you have a great personality. We've actually been looking for a marketing person. I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll want to give up this, gig where I'm like selling discount cards every day. And perhaps it could be worth talking about. So that was actually my first marketing job, and that was in 2006. And since then, I've actually never looked back. I've been in sales and marketing ever since. And to tie that back into my family, my grandfather was in door-to-door sales, and my grandmother was in jewelry sales at Colombian Emeralds in the Caribbean. So I'd like to think I've always had some hustle in me. It's different when you're running after people, chasing them with a microphone, you're asking them questions, but you're also, when you're in sales, you're also like hustling because you're not really chasing people, but you're trying to help them with their advertising needs, but you do have to have some hustle. So we're going to talk a little bit today. I don't know what happened here. Oh, we'll see. I'll have you bring it back up maybe for me. First, I'll talk a little bit about personal branding, and then we'll go into advertising, and we'll also do like a little exercise at the end, and lots of time for questions and all that. So this is me here, and from looking at the pictures and logos, can anybody tell a little bit about my personal brand? Outdoors, okay. Yeah, I love being outdoors, super fun. Cooking, I love to cook. I'm a hobby chef. Anything else? Does anyone see who I'm partnered with? UNICEF. And when you guys think of UNICEF, what do you guys think of? Who do they help, I guess? Kids, yeah. They're part of the United Nations Children's Fund. So a couple weeks ago, I was on Facebook one night after I came home from a run, and I was in my apartment, and I just got on Facebook, and I was targeted, and I got an ad from the Boston Marathon, which said, oh, would you, if you'd like to run the Boston Marathon, maybe you'd want to run for us at UNICEF, fill out this form. So I clicked on it, and I filled it out, and I ended up the next day getting a note back saying, yes, we're delighted to have you. We're so glad you want to participate. And here are these forms. And if you want to participate, it's like a $10,000 fundraising commitment. So I am a runner, an avid runner, but I've actually never run a marathon. So I actually decided to sign up. And so this is kind of what my personal brand is about at the moment. So this is actually here. This one is going to go up tonight for like a Facebook ad. This one's on my LinkedIn, and this one was like my Facebook posts. So that's like a little bit about me. As far as like the personal branding goes, I always like to tie it back into like, so when I meet people, it's about like, introducing yourself, connecting with them, and showing a little bit what you're all about. I imagine most of you guys are on LinkedIn and social media for work and for personal. Yes?
I know nothing about LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome. So does anyone know how you can create these here, like super easy and fast? Okay, so this is actually a quick tip. Write this down. It's called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. And they have a pay trial and then a free trial. So I don't like to really pay for stuff all the time. So I actually just used the free trial there and created that. So it's actually quite easy. You can upload your pictures. You can play with it. And if you type in like Facebook cover, it gives you the right dimensions. If you type in like LinkedIn, it'll give you the right dimensions for that. So that's a little tip right there. Okay, so we're going to head into our presentation here. Does anyone know what the word like omni means? Like, so a hint right there. So it's all about like omni-channel marketing is about marketing all the different touch points together to work on every channel. So for instance, where we just saw like my Facebook cover and my LinkedIn cover and my Instagram. So I have it not necessarily automated because it's my personal brand. I am trying to raise money, but I'm not doing it as like a marketing brand. But the way I have it is that every touch point, whether you meet me in person or online, you can see something about UNICEF Kid Power. The cooking one is for cooking class. The running one is for my upcoming event. So we'll talk a little bit about how that will pertain to the business world. Okay, so if you, and I can show these slides afterwards. This is from an article that Jeff Bullis wrote, and it's about like the top 2019 trends in digital. After I was at the piano gallery for about 2 years, I ended up having to reinvent myself. I had to do that a few times because the recession hit and nobody wanted to buy a luxury piano. So I ended up reinventing myself, working in social media, video marketing, and eventually ended up at Utah Digital Services, which is a sister company to the company I'm at now. So I actually have some background in all of these fun different things here. So does anyone familiar with Facebook and Instagram stories? Has anyone ever done it? Okay, what have you done so far?
Well, it's just like personal.
Yeah.
Like hanging out with friends, shows who views your story and how much traffic it brings in. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyone ever do the Instagram stories? And what have you done on Instagram?
When I was in high school, I ran our debate team
Yeah.
on Instagram, so I just kind of post about tournaments and my team stuff. It's really cool.
So was it to build awareness or to ask people to come join or?
Both, a lot of different things like advertising, awareness.
Awesome. Was it successful? Awesome. All right, so Facebook and Instagram stories, there's a lot of debate now as far as, if Instagram is actually going to start hiding the people you see who like them. So I actually noticed this week that I had to like click over and see who liked it, but they'll still show you views, and views are metrics. And digital is actually pretty easy to measure because you can count like the likes, you can count the views and things like that. So Facebook and Instagram stories are pretty big for businesses. You'll see, on Instagram, a lot of fashion brands, a lot of food brands, a lot of visual brands. And Facebook's demo, as an older audience, it's still a great place for that as well. Does anyone listen to the podcasts? Yeah, who do you listen to?
I like NPR one.
Yeah, nice.
Wait, Don't Tell Me. I like crime ones.
Yeah.
What they call them.
Crime is big. It used to be like, back in the day it was like Dateline, for live TV, but now I've noticed there's a lot of like crime on podcasts. I listen to, this is a good one for those of you who are interested in marketing. It's called Marketing Mix by Jeff Ragavin, and you can get that on Spotify, or I think it's also on Apple. And he interviews different like CMOs, like it's about interviewing like the most influential CMOs today about the ideas for tomorrow. So that's actually one of the ones that I listen to. The podcasts were kind of got going like, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 years ago, and then they were kind of quiet, and now they're like getting really popular. So I actually really like podcasts. What about various apps? Do any of you guys use apps, say, and this is like an easy one, like beauty apps to like filter, photo apps to filter like how you look or your pictures? Yeah? And what's your favorite app?
I just use like free ones. I don't pay for them. I don't use Facetune.
Yeah, one of my coworkers used Facetune before. I use like Snapseed. That one's by Google. That's not a bad one. Yeah. So like brightening the pictures and all that. Yeah.
Whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, so I mean, so much, and we'll talk about this a little bit, like so much of what used to be, we had to use Photoshop or desktop, we can use on our phones right now, so totally how things have been changing. Has anyone noticed, like when you say, is anyone here looking at going into graduate school? Has anyone, this keeps dying, has anyone like tried to reach out, say, after hours to that school, ended up with like a chat bot answer them, hi, I'm so-and-so? And what's been your experience so far? So there's a company here, because I like to talk about local, it's called Atlas RTX, and they're based in Park City. So one of their clients, I know this is Purdue University. So in your free time or whatever, if you go and to Purdue's like site and pretend like you're interested, you'll see like their chatbot will come back and answer you in various questions. So chatbots are becoming a way to streamline communication. I mean, it's pretty new, but as AI gets a lot bigger, we'll definitely see more of that in the future when it comes to education and healthcare. Atlas RTX, it's a company that was started by a gentleman who lives here in Park City. His name is Bassam. So I'm actually pretty familiar with their product, but they are doing like a lot of really neat things there. And if any of you guys are interested in internships or things like that, talk to me afterwards. But that's definitely like a big way of how our things are going to be changing as far as that conversation between like real people and AI. PR, any PR people here? Okay, press releases. How has that changed over the past bit?
I was the director of PR at UVU.
Yeah.
And so it used to be really press release based, like we would, and you still send the basic press release, but it's all about follow up and writing short snippets, and it's a lot more action oriented than just sending out a press release.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was a news reporter back in the day, it was like we would stand there, and this is like, this term fax might be kind of foreign to some of you younger people in the room, but we would literally wait for like the faxes to come in for the press releases, and then they would go into the assignment desk and decide what stories we'd cover. Now, because in broadcast newsrooms and broadcast, radio, TV, and print, there's just been a shift in how people consume media. A press release is still efficient, but then it's also, like you said, the follow-up and a way to figure out, well, how many people are actually going to see the content. But it still definitely has its place because it's a good way to like get your message out. Does anyone check their mailbox every day? Because I know I don't. Actually check it every couple days. But when I do check it, there's direct mail in there. Anyone familiar with that? Has anyone ever had to, I don't know, create an ad for that, or seen it or used a direct mail piece maybe from a consumer standpoint? You have?
Of course, right? So I've created, so when I worked for UVU,
Yeah.
did a whole direct mail campaign, even to a younger audience, but it was also to reach parents of prospective students.
Yeah.
And bought the ads by zip code.
Yeah.
And to specific audiences.
Yeah, it's actually,
Right, it's still effective. People don't think that it is, but it is making a comeback.
It actually is making a comeback. I went to this seminar. It was called Bright Talk, and Bright Talk houses, they're out of Colorado. They house podcasts and seminars. And the way they monetize their platform is they have companies who want to go put their all of their like podcasts and seminars on their platform, and then for a certain fee, then they'll boost them, and then people can like look at their content. So they had a presentation here, and I was actually surprised because they are like a tech company. They actually did say, they were like, oh yeah, we actually are starting to do more targeted mail, because targeted mail, to your point, you can buy zip codes, you can drill into like age, gender, people who are homeowners, things like that. There's actually an electronic version to that too that we sell at Utah Media Group, and that's like the electronic mail version of that. But anything that's targeted is a good way to reach your consumers, but you need to know who your consumer is. Okay, we already went through most of these. All right, conversational commerce. Would anyone like to volunteer and read? Come on, don't all volunteer. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so can anyone think of a time that they were on, Facebook, or they ended up, chatting with a brand? Or even on Twitter, like you're on a Delta flight and you're upset about something and you tweet them. Does anyone have an example of that? You? Yeah. Yeah. I always think it's interesting now how the person who's answering you, like if they're responding for Delta, they'll put like their first name on there, or Nordstrom, or whomever. It's just a way of adding that personal touch to the conversation. Okay. Influencers, we're going to kind of branch into that, into the community with your customer. Anyone familiar with the term influencer? Yes? Okay. Did you raise your hand too? Are you neighbors with Rachel Parcell? She actually has a really interesting story. So she's from Utah, a family of, I believe, 4 girls. And when I worked at Utah Digital Services, I brought in the Down East account. So I was a sales rep there and sold the account. We did all the digital advertising. So the retargeting ads, those ads that follow you around on the internet. We did the pay-per-click ads and all of that. So I ended up getting the inside scoop that Rachel actually worked there as in the jewelry department. And she wasn't completely happy with the salary because, it's down east, a jewelry maker. you're probably not making a whole lot of money. And she's like, after 6 months, she's like, no, this is not for me. I'm going to go launch my own brand and I'm going to go make it. And they're like, okay. So, she left on good terms from understanding. And now she actually is a millionaire blogger. In the beginning, she had her mom take her pictures and all that, but she always had like a really good eye. And now she's partnered with Nordstrom. She has her own clothing line. And so she's probably one of the biggest influencers here. There's other influencers who are paid, on a smaller scale, like $50 a post, $100 a post, to do different things. Influencer advertising, it is coming a little bit under fire right now because the brands can't always tell if those are bots or like real people looking at them. So, if someone says, well, I have 100,000 followers, it's actually very hard to verify that. Versus like a direct mail piece, we can definitely verify, when we do it through Utah Media Group, like how many people it went to, how many people, the post office delivered it to, et cetera. And, those are real verified homes. With this new kind of conversational commerce and, the influencers, it is actually a little bit more difficult to do that. Okay. Oops. All right. What are some of your favorite shows? Does anyone watch Daybreak? Nobody watch Daybreak? It's about the apocalypse. Okay, and how about where are you consuming content? What are some of your favorite platforms? Netflix, YouTube, Hulu? I'm mostly streaming, or is anyone watching live TV here? You do? What do you watch? Sports, yeah. I actually spent a year at Channel 2 in the sales department, and that's what was one of our main selling points. Like, most people aren't going to watch sports by themselves, so they want to watch it live. And people also who watch the news, they are not going to like DVR the news. I actually know one person who DVRs the news, and she's like she's turned 70, but I think she's an anomaly. So, people generally right now are, especially in this age group, are streaming content. So the term for this advertising is called OTT. And so it's when we distribute film and TV content over an internet connection rather than traditional satellite or cable. So like Netflix, Hulu, it's pretty sophisticated as far as who they can target, and again, targeting is very important in advertising, but it's new. So when I was at Channel 2 and we were just started to sell it, a lot of the traditional advertisers, as the broadcast ratings were declining, we were asked to go out and talk to the banks, the credit unions, the other brands, and say, okay, if convert some of your advertising dollars over to OTT. So it was a difficult sale, but though a lot of people are starting to go in that direction, a lot of advertisers, because we want to be able to capture the audience of those who aren't watching live TV anymore.
Can you tell me how that works? I'm not as familiar with that.
Okay, so if you are on any of these, so YouTube, that's streaming content, and so there's advertising. So there's two ways that you'll see ads on YouTube. You see ads that are like the pre-roll ads.
Yeah.
So you'll see the ads in the beginning, but that's still considered over the top because it's over the internet connection. But the way you'd buy it, when I say there's two ways, through YouTube, that's owned by Google. So you can actually just buy it directly, or you can buy it through an agency. Those are one of two ways. If there's other kinds of OTT, like say if you bought it through Comcast or through Channel 2 or even through us, then there's a variety of different platforms. So there's Sling TV and a bunch of other ones. Some of it's free. So no, so you can't. So the reason they put Netflix here is because Netflix is called SVOD, so it's subscription like on demand. So Netflix, that's how they're making their revenue. But I can't buy into the Netflix platform. We can actually, where I work at Utah Media Group, we can sell on the Hulu platform because they have different ads there. So Netflix's bread and butter is still like people who pay for the subscription every month. But some of them, like Sling TV, because that's free, that's how they're making money. Okay. Anyone use Roku here? Or PlayStation? Do you ever see ads on PlayStation? Yeah. Okay, so what brands are you seeing?
A lot of them are like PlayStation based, like PS Plus.
Yeah.
Some other ones like Crackle.
Yeah, Sony Crackle. So I'm pretty sure that they figured out who you are. Are you the only person using it? Yeah, so the ads that you would see versus like say if I had it in my house with my 9-year-old daughter would be different because they can figure out, who's consuming what are they doing, male, female. There's actually a lot of data. It's what's called third-party data, and they figure out through what you're consuming, what you're doing, like who you are. And they can also match it up through like your IP address and figure things out like that. So yeah, it actually is very, very targeted. When we first started selling it at Channel 2, about 2 years ago, it was, just age, so it would be like 25 to 54, male, female, but then it got more sophisticated where we could start layering like income targeting and interests and things like that. Okay, cord cutting. So does anyone still have Comcast here? Do you have Comcast? No, you do? So we cut the cord in our apartment about a year ago. So we're like, no thanks. Yeah, so we have the internet as well, like through Comcast, but we don't have the cable. So OTT, keep watching it because it's definitely how things are going to go in the future. All right, social strategies. Okay, we talked a little bit about influencers here. Here's a good company to look up, Social Native. So a couple of years ago, I was looking at perhaps branching off into tech. I knew as I was in social media marketing and doing some PR, and I looked at a few different companies. I looked at Salesforce.com, so I ended up meeting one of the gentlemen who had a company that was sold to Salesforce, and he eventually sold it, did very, very well. He sold the company for $789 million. It was him and 2 other people. took a break and decided to invest in other companies. And one of them is that he invested in is called Social Native. Social Native is in California, in Los Angeles. So I visited about a year and a half ago and just caught up with him to see what he was up to. And so they partner with a lot of big brands like Sony. And are there any parents in the room of like little kids? Do you have any daughters? No? Any parents of daughter? How old's your daughter?
3 and 1.
Has she heard of LOL, the 3-year-old?
Yeah, well, she's not really into it.
Not yet. Like, yeah, when she gets a little older, so LOL is like, it's like really popular. So they, what they do is you can sign up and you give them like your Instagram handles and all of that, and they'll see what your reach. So our reach is not, it's actually my brand. It's not, my daughter's on it sometimes, but it's more like, it's not that big. It's only 1,200 people who follow me on Instagram. It's not like Rachel Parcell is like, you know, more than 1 million followers, but we still were able to qualify to do influencer collaboration with LOL and Social Native, and we got like a free doll, and we got, you know, paid I think like $35 on PayPal. But it was actually quite interesting to see like what they asked of us. So it's very, very specific. So you have to do like your posts, it has to be in focus, in natural lighting, your kid's nails need to be manicured, your kid needs to have like fashionable clothes, like big long list, and then like all the hashtags, and you have to post at a certain time, it has to be approved and all that. So from a consumer standpoint, it was fascinating to me, and also having some marketing background to see like where the future is going to be going with influencers. I don't think it's everything right now, but it's that user-generated content that looks like more authentic. And from my understanding, because I'm not a millennial, but I think there's a few in the room, millennials like authentic. Is that true? Yeah? Why? It seems more real. Exactly, like that's what they said when they gave us the list of criteria when we did the post for LOL. They said, must not be overly staged, must not have fake light, must not, you know, your kid needs to hold it and look like they're playing with it and enjoying it, but not like super cheesy is what they're saying. Because authenticity is like, it's a lot bigger than it used to be. I think people don't want to feel like they're sold. So apparently the influencer marketing industry is supposed to be 10 billion by next year. So pretty big, but it's not everything. It's just what I would consider part of the omni-channel mix. LinkedIn. Does everyone have their profile updated? Did you guys do a class on this?
We had one session.
Oh, okay. What did you guys talk about? I want to repeat. Anything?
It took us kind of an overview of what it was, how to use it. It's kind of a basic information session.
So one good thing I like about LinkedIn is they haven't changed their algorithm. So you can stay, I mean, they have changed it, but they haven't changed it like how Facebook says. So on Facebook, if you're not my friend, then you can't see like if I'm liking someone else's like posts and things like that. But on LinkedIn, if you're trying to build your brand and you want like more people, like creating more buzz about yourself or potential employer, so obviously follow that potential employer, and then you may start seeing content from various folks in that organization or within your network. Then when you like it, other people will see it and they'll see your comments. Facebook used to be like that, but then they changed it. So that's pretty much how all these platforms work, is that they're always changing with the algorithm updates. But for now, that's one reason I really like to be on there, obviously, besides you know, building my brand and all of that. We do use some LinkedIn for work as far as like content strategy and paid advertising. It's a really good place for specific brands, but it just really depends on like what kind of message you're trying to get out. That is it for that. I think what we could probably do is we'll do like, say we have 25 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we can go into like advertising and like what goes into like a good, I don't know what's the best way to engage the folks who are online. 15? Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. So we'll talk a little about advertising and what's all making a resurgence. Utah Media Group is the advertising arm of the Salt Lake Tribune and Deseret News. So has anyone been to USANA? USANA? Out there? Concerts? So you ever see this like blue Minecraft-y looking building? So that's where I work. So sadly, it's actually like half empty because of the decline in print, but we're still there and we're still printing the newspaper. So We have one of 3 surviving joint operating agreements in the country, and that means we share a printing press between the Deseret News and the Salt Lake Tribune. We also print pretty much everything else from the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the news. I think the newspaper here is printed out there as well. University of Utah, etc. So we do a lot of print and also all the digital advertising that we talked about. We also do Utah Farm and Fork. This is one of our new publications. And let's see, this is Deseret News here. This is our national edition that goes to our subscribers. Has anyone, I know you guys said you don't check your mailboxes, but has anyone seen Hometown Values? Okay. So this is actually, we have various divisions within our company. This is a very profitable division of our company. It does, like you said, direct mail and target mail is making a comeback. So people are still looking at this. So we'll talk about like what makes a really good compelling ad, and then have you guys break out into groups and we can talk about ads and stuff. So what would you say makes a compelling advertisement? And it could be online, it could be OTT, it could be paper. Like at the end of the day, like the way it's disseminated and the vehicle it's being transmitted on is changing because of the iPhone, because of Google, because of Facebook. But advertising is still advertising. We still want people to do something and buy something. Okay. Anyone?
Something different.
Different that stands out? Yeah, like unique, right? Okay, so stands out. Anything else? Happy? Emotion. People make decisions based on emotion. Right, definitely, definitely. Oh, really? Oh, good. Okay, it all ties in. Okay, definitely. People definitely make decisions based on emotion. This is, I was telling Whitney this is our busy time. It's November, and as we know, we're heading into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but there's all going to be all kinds of emotion you'll see on your YouTube ads, on your OTT ads, and stuff like that. Okay, what else? Has anyone ever heard of the term call to action? CTA? Yeah? What does it mean? Yeah? No? Did anyone nod? Yeah, it's a call to do something like, come to the store at this time, or call now, or things like that. What about discounts? What are your thoughts on that? What? It's good? It's a good deal. People are always looking for a good deal, whether it's coupons or online or targeted mail or hometown values, especially at this time of year. People want to have like an incentive to buy. What about colors? Do we have any graphic design majors in here? Has anyone done any design work? So if you look at, there's like different color palettes, like blue is like, and I don't have a design background, like blue is more calming. Discount, you'll see like the red line sales, like 80% off, 60% off. So you'll see a lot of ads this month will have red. Getting into the holidays, you'll have like red, black, green. So colors can mean all kinds of things. Alrighty, so what kind of clients do you think do well in something like this? Considering most of you guys don't look in your mailboxes. Families, yes, because families would have more mailboxes in homes. Yeah, it's a kid on the cover. So we have Minky Couture right here. Anyone else? Older. Because it's more of a traditional advertising play. What kind of verticals? So that's an advertising term. So there's like automotive, there's fashion, there's food, there's restaurants, there's services, there's garage door replacement. There's all kinds of stuff that people sell. Like what kind of companies do you think are in here? Local? Yep. Okay, so why don't we'll go around and we'll hand these through and have you guys take a look, and then we'll kind of group back and see what we thought. Okay, maybe have you guys hand backwards. And then also I'm going to pull out how much the pricing is, because I think that's actually kind of interesting as well. Okay, so go ahead and hand these back. This is Hometown. There we go. I think you guys maybe go in groups of 2 or 3, maybe. There we go. Home improvement, yep. And I can tell you a little bit about the demo as you're talking. So this goes to 500,000 homes The target market is women and homeowners. The average age is, I'll be honest about how old I am, 45 is my age. 83% are homeowners. The average household income is $87,000. The average household size is 4. The average market value of the home is $282,000. So a little bit more, affluent. And there's 17 additions that go from Cache County to Utah County. Okay, how much time do I have left?
About 5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, so does anyone want to guess how much a half-page ad is in one of these?
What's the circulation?
The circulation, okay. The circulation, it goes, so there's 2 different ones. So someone here has one that's called Hometown Plus, and that's like a different version. So that person, sorry if I kind of skewed you the wrong way. But for Hometown, the circulation, it could go up to $500,000, but we do sell it by zones as well.
What are the zones you sell by?
Okay, so there's like, as you can see, there's like a map here of the whole Wasatch Front.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we have like this multiplication table, and you will multiply it out by the different ads.
So I
Yeah.
used to buy it, I had the budget at UVU, or
Oh.
I controlled the whole marketing budget for UVU.
Oh yeah,
So I work with vendors and
Yeah.
buy ads and stuff, so that's why I'm like, what's the
by the
circulation?
zone.
What
Yeah,
are the zones? Yeah, what are the demos?
got it. Yeah, we have. So we have a client right now. Like if it's 1 to 4 zones, then it's a certain price, and so it actually it's quite variable. Does someone have the one that's Hometown Plus here? Someone may have had that one. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, so that Hometown Plus. That's our second edition. So we have the first one that's sold by zone, and that's a certain week of the month, and then that one goes out actually to a larger group. So that one for a half page is the easiest way to explain it. It's like $1,340. So $1,340 for a half page. Yeah. All right. Does anyone have any, thoughts on what they looked at as far as verticals? Was it surprising that it was a lot of what you saw different? I mean, do you think that this is appealing to a woman who's 45, makes $87,000 a year, has a family of 4, and lives and why so?
Because it's a lot of stuff to deal with homes. At least the one I saw, there's a lot of cabinet refurbishment,
Yeah.
stairway refurbishment.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, because women are a big, I was at the Salt Lake Chamber Women in Business Conference yesterday, and I actually didn't realize this until I got into advertising because I was a news reporter, but women actually are a big decision maker as far as, buying things for the home and providing those services or contracting for those services. Comment? I think you were going to say something too. Yes, because when you're in your 40s, you totally are kind of second guessing yourself. There's a lot of the micro dermabrasion and lifts and all kinds of stuff like that. And dental, yeah. Comments? Anything interesting? Oh, you're looking at the farm to fork. Okay. I know, that's a farm to fork. All right, I think I'm about ready to wrap up because my time is almost up. Any questions? Anything? Yes?
What do you think color palettes bring the most attention in advertising?
It depends on what kind of message you're going for. If it's, like I said, if it's discount, I do know a red line goes because it's red. Red means discount. Yeah, it just depends. But if you Google color palette and colors for advertising and emotion, there's all kinds of articles on it. Yeah. Anything else? All right, well, thanks, guys.